Live from inside Porsche, Colorado Springs, it's the First Dibs podcast with our hosts, John Deisty and Justin Underwood. Buckle up and let's go for a ride.
Man,
hey, welcome back already.
Jeez, yeah, it's next Friday. I guess.
What a super crazy week we're having here.
It is. It's crazy when you get up at 2 a.m. and then you're at work and Romain Dumas sits down in a little cubicle with you and is willing to chat. I mean,
Right.
Where are we? What are we doing? This is crazy.
We're at First Dibs, Porsche, Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
Where else would you find something?
I guess
like
so. This week and this week only.
So John announced that Romain Dumas sitting here in front of us. Thank you so much for taking time to do this with us. This is obviously an honor for us. If you've never heard our show, we're a couple of schmucks that like to get together and hang out and tell some stories. But obviously it's Porsche-centric around here at the dealership. And then just letting our people that don't get to come here every day know what's happening. Mm-hmm. So this is very special for everybody that listens to us as well.
Yeah. No, I'm shocked. So welcome. Anyway, I think your time's short. So I would love to know a little bit about kind of your history with Pikes Peak and maybe just the first time that you came here, if you remember maybe your first summit moment, something like that as just a kickoff.
Yeah. So first of all, thanks to invite me in this talk show. Definitely. I also wake up this morning at 3 o'clock or 2:30.
Yeah.
But the good point, it was cancelled because the weather was bad, so I could go back to bed.
Yeah. I was up there.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And and now, even after so many years, so the first time in Pikes Peak for me was in 2012. And after so many years, I'm going often now running in Manitou Springs, the incline. So I went today.
Nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So first time in Pikes Peak was 2012. And why I decided to come to Pikes Peak, it was just a dream because, Pikes Peak in Europe is really, really famous. Much, much famous in Europe that it is actually in US in terms of racing. Why is that? Because I think, on the past from Walter Hall, Michel Mouton, you have a lot of big brands who came from Europe, Audi, Peugeot at the time. And they made a nice movie, we all know about that. And so when I was a child, I always, because I was really crazy about motorsport since I was a kid, really a kid, I will say 5-6-year-old. And I have an older brother who is 5 years older than me, who was also racing, but he was not as, let's say, attracted by all the kind of racing. But me, it was everything. It was in the endurance, was Formula One, was the Dakar, and Pikes Peak. And so when Vatanen was doing Pikes Peak, I was looking so many times this video. All the French people around my age or more, I would say, they were all crazy about this video. And this is why Vatanen actually is so famous in France. And this guy is very popular in France, and he's not a French guy. So I started to do some rally back in 2000 when I was driving here in US with Penske, with the American Le Mans with the Spider. End of 2008, when I won the championship, American Le Mans series, Porsche said, okay. At the time, Porsche was not in Volkswagen Group, so it was a lot smaller than now. It was really like a family. Mm-hmm. And they said, okay, what do you want, which kind of present? So the year before, in 2007, when we won, I get a Martini race suit. And 2008, I said, I saw in Weissach that they were looking after a kind of, it was a 996 GT3 RS, and they were tuning this car to do some rally for a Belgium customer who was very rich at the time. Again, it's only 15 years ago, but Porsche was so much smaller that some rich guy could go direct to Weissach, with some connection and get a car a little bit tuned that you can forget it now. It's impossible. Mm-hmm. And I saw this car, and I was so passionate of rally. I went to my boss at the time was Armand Christen, and the guy in charge of the technical director was Roland Kousmol, who was famous because he was driving Dakar and so on. I said, no, I don't want any race shoots this year or whatever, but I would like to use this 996 GT3 RS to do a rally. So they look at me like, well, what is he telling us? This guy is crazy or what? So because I asked that, I could have this car for a weekend, and I was driving a rally in south of France, a rally that I knew, that I was looking when I was a kid, and so on and so on. So we finished the rally. I bring back the car to Weissa. The car was not damaged, so that was good. And I was already checking my lap time during the rally, and a Porsche in rally, I mean, it was popular 30, 40 years ago with the SC Group 4, with the 3-liter RS. But right now, a rally are 4-wheel drive. I mean, the Porsche has no chance in a rally. And so when I went back, I said to my boss at Porsche, thank you, blah, blah, blah. But I will do my own car. He looked at me and said, what are you telling me? I said, yeah, I want to do my own 996 GT3 RS for rally. So it started like that. I built my own 996 GT3 RS for rally. So with my own team in south of France, we started to do that, starting with small rally. And after we started to be better on the French championship, so after I done 997 3.8 RS, after I done the 997 4-liter, and for rally. And so I was really fighting on the front against the WRC car. And I started to do Monte Carlo rally with a Porsche that nobody was doing, except Tutil was doing a little bit, but was always there. And one day, I don't know why, at the end of the rally, I said to my guys, always the same crew, the same guy actually who are here, who is right now in your dealership changing some tires. I told him, okay, that's enough. We will go to Pikes Peak. So they look at me and say, why you speak about Pikes Peak? I said, I don't know. I always dreamed to do Pikes Peak, so why not we do in Pikes? We will go to Pikes Peak.
Right.
That was in April. So I said, okay, but when? I said, now, in June.
Right.
So in 2012, actually, it was a year that everything was burning here, so it was postponed, the race. But anyway, in 1 month, I found a car, a GT3, 997 GT3R at the time, that this car was coming from circuit racing, from Macau. At a big crash in Macau, we rebuilt the car, we modified the car. It was this silver car with the Haribo logo on the front. It was very beautiful. And we modified the wing and everything. We done everything in south of France and not at the factory. And we sent the car to Pikes Peak. The car arrived to Pikes Peak. And we drove the first time in 2012 with the same guys, the same again, who are here today. And the story of Pikes Peak starts like that. So my first experience was not the best one because I lost for, I think, less than 1/10 of the second overall. So I was very disappointed and not so happy because I finished the race. It was raining on top. And I get beat by Rhys Millen at the time, who didn't have the rain. So I was very frustrated.
Yeah.
And I said, I will never go back to this race because the running order, I knew that because I was, I don't know, in Pikes Peak Open at the time or Time Attack, I don't remember the class. But anyway, you didn't start by your qualified time. You were starting by your category, your class. And my class, that's the one who was starting the last one, so the afternoon at 4 o'clock. And we all know that in Pikes Peak, at 4 o'clock you have more chance to rain than if you start at 8.
Right.
But in qualify, I was qualified third. So before the race, I said, why I don't start third? I qualify third. Why we do qualify? If not, we should not do any qualify. It makes no sense. So I try to explain them that it's not correct. But, they said, a French guy, stay here, you will start at 4 o'clock. I get the rain, I get beat for 1/10. I said I will never come back. So we went back to Europe, a little bit frustrated. At the same time, some weeks later, was calling me Peugeot because they said, okay, you are in Pikes Peak, we want to do a car for next year. You have the experience now, you want to drive, blah, 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 blah. So I said, okay, yeah, finally, I will go back to Pikes Peak. So I said, okay, we do like that. But you have to know that it's an old history issue between Peugeot and Porsche from the number, the famous zero.
Yep.
So, and it's the only time in 23 years that Porsche refused that I drive something else. So they refused that I drive for Peugeot. So,
now that's a grudge.
That is a grudge.
That's a good grudge.
Yeah, that was at the time with it was a meeting in Geneva Motor Show with Wolfgang Ratz, who unfortunately was after on a Dieselgate, but a very nice person. And Wolfgang Ratz was at the board at Porsche. Said no, we cannot let you go with the Peugeot guys.
Wow.
Peugeot was lucky because they get lub, and so they won the race. And I said, okay, so I have no chance against Peugeot if I don't drive for them, so I will not go. And weeks were going or months, and suddenly on an evening, I was on a highway in France, very late, and I found at the fuel station an old friend of me who still building a chassis called Norma, and they are specialists of hill climb. So I met him on the morning at 3 o'clock at the fuel station. I was refueling my car. He was refueling his car. So on the middle in France, suddenly we say, "Oh, what are you doing here?" And you, and we start to speak. And Pikes Peak, unbelievable, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, good. So the guy suddenly said, "Hey, if you want one of my chassis, I give you the chassis." So suddenly I said, "Okay, we go again to Pikes Peak now." So we go against Peugeot, so for sure. So that was 2013. Unfortunately, only time I had a battery issue at the start. The battery, we had a problem inside, so I didn't finish the race. But anyway, Peugeot will win. Mm-hmm. And from 2014 on, we start to win with these small prototypes that we improve 14, 15, 16. And after, I get the call from Volkswagen to do this electric IDR. So at this time, I sold my car to Volkswagen that they get a base, let's say like that. They took out the engine, was a small Honda engine, 2.3 liter, sorry. And they put a battery and start the story with Volkswagen with the battery car. So that was a little bit how Pikes Peak developed. And after the Volkswagen record, I said, okay, it's really fast. I wanted to beat the Peugeot time. And I said, okay, I will not go again to Pikes Peak because it's very dangerous at this speed. You know, the Volkswagen speed was quite impressive. Mm-hmm. And I said, I think I will not do anymore. And 1 year I missed, I think, or 2 years. And after that, Champion, the dealership that I knew because they had a race team in Le Mans before, you know, with the Mirage family, and they called me, can you drive GT2 RS, Club Sport? So I don't Pikes one more time. And Ford came, and now, the story continues. Voilà.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I'm just dumbfounded that I asked a good question. I don't know.
No,
just
absolutely.
that was a great story. Yeah. And it kind of leads me into something else I kind of want to know about. Your history. You've driven gas-powered cars, and then I believe you were involved in the 919 hybrid Evo kind of project, and then now you're working with Ford, and you've driven their super van, and now I don't know if they're calling this Lightning super truck. I'm not sure exactly what the terminology for it is, but as a racing driver, do you prefer one or the other? Do you just want the fastest thing? Is there more emotion involved with the gas-powered cars, or how did
Pikes Peak, is something really, really particular, and it's the only race in the world that due to the rule, you can race everything, all the technology, you have no rule, you have no BOP, the famous now balance of performance. That's a new thing in motorsport. I call it the communism of motorsport because everybody need to drive at the same speed. So right. This is impossible, This is not, it's like I will tell you, okay, we do the Olympic game and everybody need to run at the same speed. It's impossible.
Right.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, Pikes Peak, it's a big chance because you have no rule except the safety. Okay, you have some classes. And he allowed teams, factory, small teams, small people in their own garage to prepare their own car for Pikes Peak. And they compete all against each other.
Right.
So you can spend 10 million, you can spend $1,000. At the end of the day, you will be on the same grid. Right. This is not possible in motorsport anymore.
Right. Yeah.
If you look in US, it's like I will tell you, I will compete in NASCAR, so Daytona 500, and I don't my own car in the garage. It's impossible.
Right.
And that's the best. Or same for Indy 500, or same for Sebring or Le Mans or Formula 1 in Monaco. It's the only race. So that's a big chance that you have in Pikes Peak.
Right.
When I started here with my own team, everybody was thinking that when we won in 14, 15, 16, that we were burning 300,000 euro or dollar or $360,000. But we were coming here with 50,000 and we were winning,
Right.
And we get so much coverage in Europe that people were all like, wow, how can you do that? Say, we are just a group of young guys so motivated. We are doing our things.
Right.
So to go back to your question, The good point in Pikes Peak is because you have no rule, you can try technology. You can, if you are a brand, develop something and to see if it will work. So now people from the past will tell you, yeah, with the altitude, you need a turbo engine for sure. Atmospheric has no chance, but with a turbo engine, the turbo right now, compare a battery car, I will say, the battery has a big advantage for sure as the power. You don't lose any performance with altitude. The big disadvantage are the weight. I mean, we all know from a road car what is the advantage of the battery and the disadvantage. So we have the same in Pikes Peak. To drive a car without gears, so means a battery car, it's the same when if you take here the Taycan. Suddenly you realize how complicated it is to shift gears.
Right.
Even if you have pedal shift, even if you have what you want, suddenly to have no gears. You are thinking, why we have gears for so many years?
Right.
It's
Right.
true. But suddenly, when I drove the first time an electric car without gears, I said, why we have gears? And suddenly I was thinking, I said, Romain, you like technology, but at the end of the day, you are very stupid. Because 40 years ago, when you were doing go-kart, the go-kart with a shifter on the corner was always slower than the go-kart without shifter. So it's the same story because you have to change the gear and more activity. So the power with the electric is instant, it's constant, it's much more complicated to drive because you have no noise, you have no indication. Braking, as you all know from a Taycan and everything, you have the regeneration. So for sure you have a hard or more braking performance, but it has to be set up properly. So everything is more complicated with an electric car, like in your Taycan. To prepare, to build, to create, to run. But at the end of the day, you have strong performance in terms of power, a lot of disadvantage in terms of weight. When I'm driving an electric car, like last year the van or now the truck, I'm joking and said, I found new corner in Pikes Peak because some place I didn't know that a king should be a corner, but suddenly when you have 2 tons, I tell you, suddenly it's a challenge.
Right.
So I will say, all these 10 years with turbocharger engine, with a hybrid, if we are speaking about Le Mans car, the 919, or now the 963 that I drove in Daytona, and the electric car, I will say the hybrid car, and the electric car are really similar in terms of technology. How you brake, how you regen, the brake-by-wires, the torque vectoring, if you can do, how do you use the power. These 2 things, the hybrid and the battery, are very, very close. And these 2 technology need really proper engineers. You cannot, if you are telling me, Romain, you do again your car next year for Pikes Peak, I will never go in the battery situation on a hybrid situation. It's impossible for a small team. I will go here again with a turbo engine because it's light. And I'm sure people are telling me, your time you cannot beat your time in Pikes Peak. We need an electric car. I always said, if you take a very nice V6 engine or take the 919 engine we have, it was an engine like that, like a go-kart engine. It was 600 horsepower. It was 80 kilo. You put this on Pikes Peak, I can tell you are beating everybody in my time and everything. So at the end, people are often taking conclusion very quickly, but I would have said a good turbo engine is for sure still very, very strong in Pikes Peak. And to give you an example, this week we are doing some simulation. 100 kilo in Pikes Peak is 10 seconds over the run.
Really?
So I can tell you calculate a car with 600 kilo and my van with 1.8 ton.
Wow.
What is the difference already?
Wow.
So for sure you need to cash back with the power.
Right.
I love when we have a racing driver on here and they drop a stat like that.
Right.
Because that's something that's going to stick in my head.
Oh, for sure.
So I am worth 20 seconds on Pikes Peak. So don't take me along for a ride. Yeah. Wow.
I'm thinking, how do we get a 919 engine?
Yeah. There's a car right back there that needs an engine. So that's
Holy
wild. Well, very cool. So is your race team who then prepared the cars for the Ojos de Saldo thing to kind of pivot a little bit? Was that kind of just a continuation of learning this mountain and then figuring out I need to go up something bigger, or how did that happen?
Yeah, well, so after the Pikes Peak story, because we won it, and it was very, very nice to win Pikes Peak with your own team and your own cars and IDs. It's an achievement for me, very, very nice. And we were working hard. And, in 2016, I won Le Mans, and the week after Pikes Peak. And for me, that was the best.
That's a big high.
The best
That's
month,
right in the high.
Absolutely.
And that was very cool. And so after that, I said, okay, now we try to do the same for Dakar, because in my dream list, it was Dakar. So I said, we will do our own car. So we tried to do the same things that we were doing. So we done our own buggy for Dakar. We started in 2018. That was not the biggest success we had. We had a lot of issue. We burned cars. I mean, it was very complicated. But we are still doing Dakar the last 5 years. So now I'm running an Hilux. So we have a lot of background information from off-road. Dakar, again, is completely different compared to what you know in US with the Barra 1000. The car are lighter, the road is a little bit different. But anyway, we were learning that. And so Porsche had an idea to do this Oroz del Salado record with the 911. So I heard about that with my boss of the motorsport at the time was Frank Walliser, since last week, possibly you read the news, he will be the CEO of Bentley now. And Frank, we are very good friend. I mean, we were starting in motorsport at Penske. He was already there in 2005, so we always follow each other. And Frank said, "Oh, can you do something for Oroz del Salado?" And I said, yeah, but what do you want to do? Yeah, we done our own car. It's from the road department, blah, 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 blah. So I drove the car. The first one they done was okay, but they were doing on their own without disrespect. They didn't have experience from motorsport, only about a road car. And so they went to Oroz del Salado on their own. And the first expedition, I was not involved. And it was very complicated for them. They stay one and a half months, and at the end, it didn't work like it was planned. So nobody heard about it at Porsche, at the dealership, or the fan, or the customer. Nobody heard about this experience of the first time in Oroz del Salado. So for the second year, Frank again came to me and said, yeah, please, can you do something, and so on. And I said, okay, if you want, we do it, but I want to do my own car as I want. So they said, okay, we send you a road car. So it came from Stuttgart on the road, a yellow 992 and a C4S. And we modify the car. That's the car you saw on the picture. So we create everything. For sure, it was people from Weissa on board in terms of the suspension, for the engine, for the gearbox, but all the rest, all the chassis modification, suspension, radar setup, testing, the winch, the cooling, everything we done ourselves, and the carrossery, because the car looked good.
Yeah, right.
But it was done in my job, so that was very good. And so we done everything. And so not in 2023, but 2022, we went to Oroz del Salado. I also said to Porsche, I said, okay, I will bring my guys, my mechanics, my doctor, my guide, everything. I don't want to have any German on board or doctor or things, because, I understood that in this kind of project, I took it more like a motorsport project. I said, when you are at this altitude, I hate altitude. I hate when it's cold. So for me, it was everything against what I like. I never climb a mountain. I like the sea. I like the boat. So it's the opposite of me. So I said, I want to have my own guy, because, when you are at this altitude and everything is going wrong, that it will be, you need to speak the same language. Yeah. Not that I didn't want. So I said, okay, I will take 1 or 2 engineers from Porsche, because in case of issue, but they need to be fit, they need to be prepared. I don't want marketing people, I don't want press people, I don't want to carry people. So it was clear. So I chose 2 or 3 guys with Frank Walliser that were very excited from Weissa, who look fit. So they came to France We went to Switzerland to do some fitness test, also with my mechanics, to be sure that we will be able with altitude, to because it's 6,000 meters. It's not, Pikes Peak is already very high, and for European people to be at 4,500 is already very difficult.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so for people listening, Pikes Peak is 14,115 feet. I think Ojos de Saldo was like 22,000 feet, somewhere in there. So long way up.
Right, very far.
And we were sleeping at 4,500, so on the top of Pikes Peak.
Right.
You feel drunk up there. Like it messes with your brain. Even with us, we're living at a mile, and you add that extra 10,000 feet, and that tweaks you.
Yeah, exactly. So we went it because we had a date. We had to do it before LA Motor Show, because LA Motor Show will be the introduction of the 911 Dakar. So Porsche said, okay, you have to be in November because LA Motor Show is just after that. So you have to finish and to climb this volcano as high as possible before the LA Motor Show. Unfortunately for us, November in Ojos del Salado is just the exit of the winter, and they have a very strong winter, and it was full of ice. You have penitentes, as they call penitentes, everywhere. So it was like, a knife of ice, and you could not do anything. And the car was running very well. We came very quick at 6,000 meters. But after that, it was like no issue. We flew some drone. We were with my guide, tried to walk around the penitentes to try find different way to climb more, but we could not. So we end up at 6,007 meters. We were all very disappointed because we knew we have the capacity to go higher, but you could not climb penitentes where 1 meter or 1 meter 20, and it was very dangerous also for us because they were like knife, and at this altitude, no helicopter are flying. You are in the middle. If somebody has an issue, we are staying there. So we pack everything back. We say, okay, we go back. And for me, it was very difficult in terms of altitude. The first year was terrible. I mean, this year was the year we speak about was terrible. I was very sick, big headache, some hallucination all the time the first 10 days. I mean, I need to go back 2 times on a lower altitude, to recover. It was an oxygen box that I was inside many times, kind of a doctor box that they put me that could regulate the oxygen. I mean, it was very difficult. So LA Motor Show, 911 Dakar, everybody was there, Blume, Valiser, and so on. Congratulations, Romain, Detleven Blatten. Congratulations, Romain. I say, yeah, but I'm sure we can beat the record of, because Unimog was doing a record of 6,680 meters. And so Valiser very excited to say, we have to go again next year, but for sure you need budget, blah, 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 they do. So they decide we go again. So I say, yeah, but next year we go in December when the weather is the best. We try to have the best slot. So for 1 year, we left the car in Chile. I sent people over there to modify the radite. What we saw was not perfect. Drive shaft angle, the gallery, because we wanted to have different things on the gallery. So we modified the car. We went again in December and last year. And I said, okay, we keep the same crew because we knew it was better. So always these 2 engineers from Porsche, the same doctor, the same guide. We took more Chilean guide also to help us in case, We bring Joe Brenner from the Porsche Colorado Spring. I said, you will be my man. You will carry my bottle of water or whatever because he wanted to come. So that was very nice. And we get perfect weather the first 10 days that you need to get acclimated. So you walk a lot, you walk high, you come down each evening. We were sleeping at 4,500 meters. That was our base camp. And each day, walking a little bit more higher, found the way, found the best route for me to learn where I should pass, a little bit like Dakar, where I should go, which rock or what or where. So we organized that. Unfortunately, after that, we had bad weather for 5-6 days, a lot of wind, so we could not go outside. It was very cold, minus 20 degrees Celsius, so I don't know in Fahrenheit. But it was very cold, so we have to wait some days. And suddenly we had a slot of 1 day. We said, okay, it's our chance. We try, but we have only 1 day because the day after was again very windy. And so we went in the morning. I start at 5 o'clock. I put on the way after 6,400 meters. I said to the guide, okay, one doctor need to be here. The next one, we will bring it higher if we arrive. I want to have some guides there. So Joe Brenner said, because he was fit, I said, okay, you will go with this guy. You will be waiting for me at 8:30 in the morning. You should be at 6,500 meters. So we split the group. So we all have for sure communication with radio. We have satellite phone in case of issue. We have 2 doctors, and we start like that. I start on my own at 5 o'clock, and I start, and at 8:30, as it was planned, at 6,400 meters, I arrived, and they were there. So it was good. The sun was going up. We're like, wow, we are all here at 6.4 already. But we didn't know after 6.4. We never went by foot, so we didn't know what to expect. Mm-hmm. And at 6.4, it was a big, 200 meters or so for you, 0.120 miles of ice, but really ice. And the car, we have tires for the tarmac, for the gravel, but not for the ice. We have no spike. So I get stuck on the ice for a long time. So the ice was very soft, so we lost a lot of time there. But with a winch and everything, we went through. And after the last 200 meters from 6,480 to 6,680, where it was a Unimog record, was very, very deep, very hard. But we climbed there, and I knew exactly where the Unimog was stopped because we saw with many pictures from them. So it was facing a big rock. So we knew where was a rock. So I said, okay, I go to this rock, I drive 1 meter more, and I stop. And that will be enough. Mm-hmm. So after hours, we are now at 3 in the afternoon. I arrived to this rock 1 meter higher. I have 2 GPS from the Guinness book. So with sailing in a box, they were validated, they were with stickers, they were perfect. I go out and I look my GPS box. It was 2 GPS box. And normally in my plane, we are at 6,000 in my watch, also 6,682 meters. And this box are showing me 6,630 meters. So it was missing 50 meters.
Right.
And you are thinking, but what I am doing here? It's 3 in the afternoon. Since 5 in the morning, I am on this car. That's the water. Inside it was warm like hell. And the water is on my back. All the cooling systems was very hot because on the front was a winch. So I take the satellite phone. I call at Porsche and say, listen, I am at the point, but it's missing 40 meters. So what we do now? Right. So for sure, you can imagine the German engineer telling me how to reset the GPS, how to do this, that, but you don't imagine at 6,680 or 40 actually, I don't know. The guy to a certain point says, listen, I am here, now I cannot do more, so stop speaking and bam. So I close the line and I wait a little bit, but I felt very bad. Came one of my guide, and the guy called Mika, and the guy said, okay, what do we do now? I said, yeah, it's missing 40 meters, so I don't know what we do. But we not stay here the rest of our life, so we have to move. And suddenly he said, listen, look on the left, you can see on the crest, if we are driving on a crest, possible we can go around this big rock, the rock of Unimog, and we will arrive on the top of the volcano. I said, yeah, but listen, how can we do that? The crest is so sharp. I mean, if you fell down on the left, you go for, 600, 800 meters suddenly.
Wow.
So I said, this is not the best idea. So I said, okay, I will go by foot. So I walk a little bit, but at this altitude to do, a small distance, you are completely exhausted. So I walk a little bit. I went to look. I said, okay, we try. Wow. So we turn left. I take the crest and actually walk. So I went around this big rock. At the same time, it was the Chilean guide arrived. So 2 or 3 guys came. I don't remember because we were very tired and like drunk, it's true. Mm-hmm. So I drove on the left side on this crest and I face suddenly I saw the volcano, the top of the crest. And I said, okay, if I go here, blah, blah, blah. But it was full of rock because you are really at the base of volcano, so big rocks. And I said, okay, I will go by here. I saw the line. I went on power. I put first, the gearbox is very short. In 7 gears, we were at 70 kilometers per hour. So for you at 40 miles, 45 miles in 7 gears. Mm-hmm. So I put second gears. I went flat out with the things. It went up. And it's a picture possible. You saw that the car is flying. Yeah. I hit a rock that I knew that it was a rock, but I was so, so we cannot say drunk because we didn't drink, but except water. But yeah, I hit the rock like crazy. So I bent the wheel and everything, but I could continue. And in one time I arrived on the top of the crest and down, at the center of the volcano. Like that, it was no discussion about that we were higher than Unimog, that was sure.
Right.
Because like that, it's in all map around the world that this volcano is at 6,740 meters. So I said, here we are. I put my GPS, we don't picture, we saw the volcano. And after, we are all for sure very, very happy. After the difficult point was to go back.
Right.
Because at this altitude, sure. It was much faster to go down than to go up. This is clear, but it was also very dangerous. That was a good experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, even walking at like Devil's Playground up on Pikes, I think that's 13,000 feet. And just walking down from practice to where that was ending, where the center section was, and walking back up, I was exhausted doing that little bit. Sure. At 2 a.m. So to do it at twice the height over the course of a 12-hour day.
Yeah.
Man, what a crazy thing. Thank you for sharing that story. I don't know if I haven't seen details like that really published other places. So I really appreciate the account. That's amazing.
Well, I like the team, right, that you had of people, because so knowing, like you say, speak the same language, because you had a teammate that said, no, we can't stop here. We have to. There's a way, right? There's a way to keep going, and that's what the common bond will do. Is like it just keeps you driving forward, and that's awesome. And when Joe got back, he said that's a record that can't ever be broken. It could be tied, maybe, but you can't go any higher.
No, that's for sure. At this volcano, you cannot go higher.
Yeah.
Possible you can try to find another way or other place, or I don't know. But for sure, it was not. Actually, I even didn't know that a car never went so high.
Right.
It's after that we found out. Porsche knew possible on the marketing side.
Yeah.
But it was not my target to to say okay, I bring a car as high, But at the end it's a cool story. It was a nice, very nice story.
Yeah.
And with a very nice group of people. It was really something. Different than what I am used in motorsport. At this level, I'm doing motorsport. It's so much money involved, so much stress involved, because the result, and so on. For sure, we are all competitors. It's a sport, but with a lot of stress on the back. Then these people who are professional climber, they are completely different in mind. They always smile. They are joking about that you can die at 6,500 meters. If I was complaining, I have a headache, I have this, I have that. They were always making joke,
Yeah.
And because for sure you are living together for 20, 30 days on a place, sleeping together on a place that is nothing, nothing. By chance because it was the second year, and again, because I'm coming from motorsport, I knew how to organize good things. So we had good food, we have good things, but at the end, we are alone,
Yeah, right.
in the middle of the thing. So it was completely different profile of what I am used to or attitude of people, but it was very, very nice to see this kind of people, who are just competing on something that you have no money involved, that just they want to achieve, a dream, and it was cool, yeah.
What's it like to live with Joe Brenner for 20 days?
Yeah, it was okay. I mean, he had some headache at the start, I have to say, but after it was very strong.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see that you live here in a high place for altitude on a high place, and they had a big calf muscle like that. So for him, it was very easy.
Yeah. Silly pedal biker.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Exactly.
My two calf muscle are one, of course. So it's okay.
Yeah.
He shared some pictures with us, and one of my favorites was the RV that you had rented, and the side of it fell off while you were driving.
Yeah, we had some bad experience with that.
And just literally taped it back on
Exactly.
into place and return it.
Or where we had to shower in a small river that it was, I think, minus 20 degrees.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
At least the water was flowing.
Yeah,
Right. You know,
right.
hey,
Yeah, exactly.
that's pretty wild.
And things are looking up with the Ford truck that you're driving now.
Yeah. So that's. I mean, the story came after Pikes Peak, as I told you. I had an idea after when I drove the Porsche GT2 RS, so 2019 possible or something like that. As I told you before, I'm convinced that a small engine with a turbo could work, and beat possible the idea. So I was thinking, okay, which kind of engine I could put. So I was thinking to put, as I told you, the 919 engine that Porsche didn't want. So I said, okay, I need to find a brand who could support me with a very good engine. So unfortunately, at the same time, Volkswagen Motorsport stopped. So because I had an engine like that, a 2-liter engine from Rallycross, and the next one was a Ford Rallycross. So I had a good connection at Ford via Jim Farley. And I told him, I said, we could do this, blah, 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 blah. Unfortunately, the Ford Rallycross engine could not fit in my small prototype, as I was thinking. So he ended up suddenly at this story about doing a transit supervan. I didn't know what it was. When he told me that, I said, what is this? He said, yeah, it will be an electric car and so on. And because I like him a lot and his attitude and his enthusiasm, I say, okay, let's go like that. But I never expect, like last year, that this supervan will be so fast.
Right.
So we were surprised how fast was the van. So last year already was a big surprise. And I like his idea to say, okay, Pikes Peak could be, again, a laboratory, and also could be something special that each year we are coming with something crazy. And because, again, no rule and so, etc. So last year was a van. This year it's a pickup.
Right.
So at the end of the day, the pickup, it's the same engine than the van. It's a little bit different chassis. So it's lower. For sure, a van is lower than a transit. We all know. So, but it's the same weight, it's the same power. But to be we improve since last year. We know a little bit how to brake in terms of regeneration, as I told you before, how to use the power. So we are a little bit faster than last year. And it started to be interesting in terms of performance. It's quite surprising.
I love that they're doing that.
Yeah.
You know, props to Ford and Jim and his team for really going out and doing something so crazy. Like that's a wild idea. I think they had a super van back in the 60s that was a GT40 with a van body on top.
Wow.
So they're kind of getting back to, what. I'm not old enough to remember it like I was there, but when you think of the glory days of motorsport, a little bit, it's kind of that 60s era, 70s era of just this craziness, and now that, like you say, the communization of the rest of motorsport, now you've got Ford coming back and saying, "Hey, let's go have some fun." That's really cool. What a great program to be a part of.
Absolutely.
Do you set you must set goals, but do you set goals in terms of times for things, or how do you approach racing the mountain?
Pikes Peak is so beautiful in terms of scenery that I think with any cars you can have, even at my level, with any cars you can have fun because it's so beautiful. So for sure after that, race car driver want to go as quick as possible. So, and to have, feeling, and to feel a limit of something. So, when you are driving the truck or the van or any cars, I will say the target is to go as quick as possible. I think this year with the truck, we could go between, if everything runs smooth weather-wise, between 8:35 to 8:45. And you will see it will be more or less like that. I mean, I know my time. If everything is running
Right.
properly, and I think it start to be, for nearly a 2-ton truck, is not too bad.
Right.
But it's interesting. I will push at my best, and we will see at the end. That's Pikes Peak. The issue of Pikes Peak, you cannot predict anything. You have only one run, so how can you know? When you start from the line, what will happen on the top? You have no idea.
Yeah, I think just as a spectator, that's part of the fun of it. I'm pretty new to Colorado. I've been here 10 years. We've been going up the mountain, I think, since 17, so I haven't seen a ton. But even in that, we've had beautiful days, and then the 100th running was just crazy. And on that, and I think one of the years there was sleet on top, and they shortened the course.
Right,
so
right.
you really have no idea. That's pretty awesome. Well, I think we've taken way plenty of your time. We were only supposed to do 45 minutes, and we're a little over. So I just want to say thank you so much.
Yes.
This was really a treat and a pleasure. Thanks for hanging out at the dealership and supporting us in all we do. And have fun.
Thank you.
On Sunday. That seems to be what it's all about.
That's right.
Thank you again. A pleasure.
Well, for First Dibs and Romain Dumas, I'm John. That's Justin. Let's see what happens tomorrow.